Yo, welcome back, guys, to... How are you? I don't even know what I'm talking about today. Yeah, I do. The red pill moment. So many... I see a lot of anger out there talking about this issue of the old way of doing things, the pseudoscience, the bad terminology, the XYZ problem with the voice coaching community, with voice coaches in general. It's stressful. When I talk about the red pill moment, what I'm talking about really, and what I see, and we see this with Tristan currently, is this sense of this is bullshit. Where's the correct way? What's the correct path? So I want to talk about the red pill moment, my own, how I got through it, the pluses and the negatives of going down that road. And I'm going to just talk a little bit more generally as well. So let's talk generally first. This is a key thing to understand and really to get across my point is when we're young and we're immature, when we're children, and I'm kind of separating this from age. So not necessarily children as in young, but children as in we lack maturity. Immature people, children, they get truth from authority. Whereas people who are mature get their authority from the truth. And it's such a key distinction to make because I see plenty of adults, age-wise, who get their truth from authority. They will listen to somebody who has high status in society, who has a lot of social capital, a lot of money, a lot of status, high up the hierarchy. They will listen to what they say and they will follow it. They will listen to what they say and they will believe it as truth. They get their truth from authority, whether that's religion, whether it's government, whether it's just somebody who they look up to. As children, we get our authority or our truth from our parents, and this is completely unconscious. But as we become older, we kind of gain the ability to question. We gain the ability to look outside of ourselves. We gain the ability to look forward in time, back in time more, to dwell. And we start to realize that all that authority that we saw as truth, we start to realize some of it may be a little bit weak around the seams. Once we start pulling at that seam, if we're not careful, it can start to unravel. It can start to unravel more and more and more. And we can feel like we're all, frankly, it can feel like your entire life's falling apart around you. If we're talking generally. I had this kind of red pill sense in my mind for a long time, the last 10 or 15 years, since I've been trawling the internet, since I realized a lot of things I assumed when I was younger, I had based on simply that somebody on authority had told me. People like myself are rarer because it requires that you stop blaming others, you stop looking outside of yourself, and you step by step go through the process of looking inside yourself to solve problems. Any problems you do have in your life, you take on your own shoulders. Obviously not everything. I have a problem with the government in this country as an example, or I have a problem with the way this person acts. Those types of problems you've got to accept you can do very little or nothing about. But problems in your own life, I want to be a singer, I want to be a musician, I want to be successful, I want a girlfriend, I want to have a family, all these types of things. You have a lot of control over. And unfortunately, we live in a society where we are constantly told that it's the government's fault. What can the government do? It's somebody else's fault. You're making me feel this way. Why are you making me angry? All these types of very common things that we see. If you take full responsibility for where you're at, you start to distinguish between problems you can solve and problems you can't solve relative to one person's lifetime. I look at all this, all this campaigning and we need to change the system type things, and I just shake my head. In one lifetime, you're going to do very little or nothing to change the system. Now, in one lifetime, you can achieve a hell of a lot within yourself. You can become a great composer. You could become a great singer. You could become a great musician. You could become a great scientist. You could become a great engineer. Whatever it is, as an individual, you've got a lot of control over that. So for me, the real red pill man or red pill person is somebody who takes full responsibility for where their life is and where they're at. They're taking steps to move forward. They get their truth from they get their authority from the truth, and they've distanced themselves from getting truth from authority. So how does this all relate to singing? I guess I would say that if we look at the dogmas, the history, there are a lot of singers out there who will peddle the narrative of support. They will peddle the narrative of you can't control the voice consciously. They will peddle the narrative of singing just being all about talent. Or they'll peddle the narrative of different terminology, mixed voice, edge, head voice, chest voice, overdrive, you name it, all this terminology, falsetto, peddle all these terms, peddle all this, studies, science, all this stuff. And whilst some of it has merit for various reasons, to me that is more often than not looking for truth from authority, looking to gain your understanding from what other people say. One of the reasons I'm not too fussed about terminology in one way, whilst I do use it, I understand that people use the same words to explain different things. Conversely, they use different words to explain the same things. It all becomes very subjective. What's not subjective, what is objective, and what I tend to focus on when I'm talking to singers and talking to you guys is, why does that sensation feel different to that sensation? What are you doing differently when the sound comes out correctly and it feels a certain way versus when it comes out wrong and it feels a slightly different way? Are you able to distinguish between those two sensations? Are you able to make the correct sensation repeatable over and over again? Are you able to make small distinctions between sounds? Are you able to hear different types of resonance within the same kind of sound? These types of things, they are more direct. They are more looking for authority from truth, because however you want to describe it, however you want to talk about it, ultimately within singing, the real truth is what you're feeling in here and your ability to adjust it consistently and repeatably. That's the ultimate truth. And if you can understand that, then you can start to build something that is solid and concrete, something that is predictable, because you're going beyond terminology and you're starting to figure it out for yourself. To me, the red pill singer is somebody who maybe takes on board a lot of ideas, takes on board a lot of things that people say, but they will typically look more towards singers who figured it out and are doing exactly what they want to do, rather than people that just talk a good game. This is why I put out a lot of singing videos this year of myself performing, so that people can say, do I like what he's doing? And if the answer is yes, they can listen to what I'm saying, because what I'm saying is a connection to what I'm doing. Far too often, we see coaches who talk, but do not sing. Yeah? Now, I'm all for different styles and different approaches, but as many of you know, there is a universal kind of standard or a universal expectation amongst singers. Those are the things that I try and pick away at on this channel, is what's universal basic skills that all singers need. What I really would encourage you to do is, yes, get a singing program. Yes, get a method to practice with every day. But I would encourage you not to get too attached to different ideas, to different terminologies, because anything that creates a framework for you will end up trapping you ultimately. All the great singers out there learn to sing without any framework. Yeah, the so-called naturals, they had no verbal boundaries. They had no systematized way of learning, yet they figured it out. My point being is that because they had no framework, they had no boundaries, they searched for boundaries. They looked for the boundaries themselves. Rather than being told by authority, these are the boundaries. This is your mixed voice. This is your head voice. This is your full voice. This is falsetto. And putting everything in nice little pigeonholes and all that. They went out there into no man's land and discovered those boundaries for themselves. Now, quite a lot of those naturals maybe push those boundaries a bit far to the point where it maybe not be unhealthy. But if you want to be a great singer, you have to find the boundaries for yourself. You have to go out there and you have to feel what it's like to go beyond the boundary and come back. You have to be right on the edge of it, right in, like right on the beaches of Dunkirk, so to speak, taking bullets in the firing line. And I say that jokingly, but the point is you have to be taking the hits, you have to be making mistakes, you have to be right out there. The main problem I see with learning singers who are struggling is they're in a tiny little box that they're trapped in and they don't know. And then as they get better, they're still in a box, but they still don't know. And it just keeps going on and on and on until one day they get to the physical limits of what they're capable of doing. So many struggling singers are stuck in limits of terminology and understanding because they just haven't branched out far enough. They haven't experienced and gone out there and felt what it's like to give things a go and fall over, just like a child when they learn to walk. Because they're too wrapped up in sounding good, they're too wrapped up in being concerned about what people think, they're too wrapped up in all that stuff, yeah? The main reason kids learn to sing well easily is because A, they've got a blank slate, no bad muscle memory to get to work out, and B, they have no fear of falling over, yeah? They've got no fear of falling over. They make a lot of mistakes. You watch a kid learn to walk, they constantly fall over and eventually they get it. It's the same with singing. This is not explained enough. You have to go out there and you have to be unconcerned about sounding crap. That will help you to assimilate to the real physical limits of what you're capable of doing. A lot more than going up and looking for peer-reviewed papers and understanding all the different terminologies and all the different approaches. Go out there. Start using this, feeling different sensations, trying to create different sounds, trying to understand what is it that makes this good, what is it that makes this a desirable sound versus what is this that makes this a sound I don't want to be part of. Why am I straining here? Is that a physical limit or am I just putting something on the sound? Am I trying to grab it because I'm scared in some way? Maybe I'm not even conscious that I'm grabbing it. So there's so many things you have to start thinking about when you learn to sing, when you take the red pill. It's like just mind-blowing stuff because you come to this channel, people, thinking you're going to learn how to sing. If you want to do what I'm doing, if you want to learn how to do it, freestyle, so to speak, you have to go down this rabbit hole and it will never end, and you will sign up for things that you had no idea even existed when you came here. This hole goes deep. The unfortunate truth is that there is some benefit to remaining blue-pilled. There's some benefit to getting your truth from authority. It creates a lot of more shortcuts for you. The end result isn't necessarily as good, but it creates a framework. It creates a lot of quick understanding. You don't have to worry about understanding that because someone's told you it's this way and you keep going and going and going. You don't hit as many brick walls as you do when you're trying to figure it out freestyle. When you're doing it on your own, you will hit brick walls that you will not be able to get through for months, maybe years. Taking all that on your own shoulders is tough. That's the thing. So as much as I kind of respect people and I like coaches that talk about these issues, I also think there's this sense in my mind that there needs to be some kind of discussion about the benefits of following a system, following a method to the T, learning it that way. The end result might not necessarily be as great, but there's a lot of shortcuts and there's a lot of, quick things you can get by getting your truth from authority as a singer. If you want to get your authority from the truth as a singer, off your own back, out in no man's land, you're taking a lot of responsibility, you're going to have some rough times, it's going to be tough. The end goal, the end result's going to be good. but it is literally survival of the fittest. It is literally, God's game. It is Game of Thrones, I guess you'd say. Very much like that. It feels brutal. It feels completely unfair at times. Anyway, these are just my thoughts really about being a red-pilled singer, being a singer that is kind of out there on the frontier more, trying to think about these things in a deeper way. Some of the problems you might encounter, not just in your day-to-day life as a singer, but in your day-to-day life as a whole, more generally. I'd like to know about your journey as a red pill singer. What have you discovered on your own that you feel like you may not have necessarily discovered had you just got your truth from authority? And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, guys. Please share it, comment, all that jazz, and I'll see you again. Take care and bye. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you want my help personally, you can book a one-on-one training session. Drop me a message. My email is in the description. And if you feel like this message was of value, then please feel free to make a donation equal to that value. Again, donation link is in the description. And finally, please share this video with other singers you know. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you in another video. Bye.